Today I'm going to show you how to 3D scan using the HP Sprout. So first you turn it on back here. The button's a little hidden, but you click that, and then the computer will start turning on. Alright, now you're here, and this computer is touchscreen, so you can just like tap on it, and then it'll take you to this, or you can just click on the keyboard and it'll do the same thing. And now you're either going to be here probably, where you'll put in your Emerson username and your Emerson password, and then you can log in. I'm just going to go into mine. I'm going to log in. So now you just give it a second so I can log in, and then it'll bring everything up. And then you have the desktop. Now, something you can do with this HP Sprout is these buttons down here, if you click on this one, it should turn on this thing, which will project the screen down if it turns on. There it is. So this down here is essentially a touchpad, and you can open all types of stuff, and you can tap on it, or you can use this pen, and then you can do the same type of deal. So for now, I want to turn this off. So to 3D scan, you're going to go over here, and you're going to want to open Camera 3D, which is this little program. You're going to go in here, and double click to open. You're going to give it a second. And now you're here in the 3D scan program, and as you can see, what you're seeing is this, because this is a camera that's going to be scanning the object. So you're going to want to bring in your object, which for our purposes is going to be this little Kleenex box, and you're going to want to put it here. And now you're going to see this gray circle that was here originally is going to turn green once I put it in, which means that it can scan it. But it can't just scan any object that you want to scan. There are certain objects that it can do and that it can't do. In order to figure out which is which, and if your object falls under that criteria, you're going to want to click over here on this little question mark, and then you're going to click here on what to scan next. And it'll give you this list. And it'll give you details for what's impossible to scan, just over here, which means it just cannot do it. So if your object falls under any of those, just don't. Difficult, which means that can, but it's going to give you a bit of a struggle. And easier, which means that's perfect, and it'll do a really good job. So this one is going to be good because even though it's not asymmetrical, it is the right size, it's solid, and it has a random non-repeating color detail, which basically means that this box has a bunch of designs across it that are different. It's not just a solid color, it's got a bunch of little splotches over here in white, and it's got these stripes, and basically has a lot of information that it can pick up on and recognize easily, instead of just being like a solid color that's really hard to see. So let me just close all this. So you put it on, and that's green, which means you're good to go. So now you're going to click over here on this little button on the right, on the bottom right corner, which will begin your scan. And now you're seeing what's over here. So now you're going to want to turn it with your fingers. It doesn't look very good right now, but it will look better later, so don't worry about it. So now you're turning this with your fingers, and the goal is to capture every side. You want to be slow, because if you're too fast, it'll freak out. But you can move it with your fingers. It's fine if you put your fingers in front of it. It'll lose it if you do it like I just did. But it's no biggie if it's like a bit of a fingertip while you're moving it, because the program will remove it. So you're going to want to capture all the sides, even these. These might give you a bit of trouble because it might do tracking lost, in which case you just want to take it back to the most recent position you had it, where it was like fine without an issue. So like that is a little easier. You kind of want to not freak out the program, you want to go a little easy, and then it'll capture them all fine. If you lose the tracking and you take it back to the original position and it still can't find it, just like put it down and then it'll probably be fine. But if it persists for too long, your object might not be scannable. So just try it again, and if it gives you the same issues, then you probably just can't scan it. Alright, so that's looking pretty good. There's no holes in it. All the corners look good. So now that it all looks good, I'm going to click over here on the bottom hand corner where there's this little stop button. And now it's going to be a photo texture capture. which basically means that I'm going to be taking a lot of higher resolution photos of all the sides. So, let me X out of here. You just hold it like this, and then you take a picture. And then you do another side, you take a picture, you do another. And you just kind of keep doing that for all the sides. And the more pictures you take, the more higher quality it will be. So you can take either, you can take as many pictures as you like, or you can just take one for each. Either way, it'll probably look fine, and you'll be good to go. So you just get all the sides here. I'll take that one twice because it's a little janky. And let's get to go. You'll know you have pictures of all the sides when everything is in color. All right, I'm gonna put it down. I'm gonna click this. I'm gonna click this over here. This little check, which will mean that I'm done. And phase 3 processing, which now you just wait. You wait for this to finish up while it's basically building the image and joining the 2 scans you just did. And then you'll be able to see your finished product once it's all done. And then I'll show you how to open it in other programs and how to save it. So now you just wait. All right, so now it's finished, and now you have your 3D object here. Using your mouse or just using the touchpad, either one, you can rotate it, and you can look at it from all these different sides. Right now it looks a bit overlit because just the program is like that. The simulated lighting is very strong, but this will be fixed in a little second. But something you might notice is that it looks like the Kleenex words are popping out, like they were 3D, when in the box they're not, they're just flat. And this is something that the program does, but which is an easy fix, so don't worry. You just go over here, and you'll see that it says Adjust PBR. You go there, and then you can just lower the intensity, and then over here, it looks normal, and you're good to go. You can also do a bunch of other stuff, like you can make it look more metallic if you want to, but we don't really want to since it's not a metallic object. And you can like increase or decrease the roughness, which doesn't really do a bunch with an object like this, but you can. So I don't want any of the intensity since it's not a particularly 3D object. So now it looks pretty good. So what I'm gonna do next, I'm gonna go to save, and then I'm gonna go to desktop or wherever you wanna save it. I'm gonna label it, green, and then I'm gonna hit save. Now it's going to save it, and now it's here on the desktop. Now I'm going to close this since I've already saved it over here on the X. And now something you can do is if you right click, it'll give you the option to open it with other programs if you want. You can choose another app if the one you want isn't listed, but these are the ones it recommends. And then if you want to see it, you just go with open, which will take you here. And now you can see your object. You can rotate around it just by holding the left mouse, and then you can see your object. This is also the program it automatically opens in is the program to print it in 3D. So if you want to print it, this will be the place to go. Something else you can do if you want to edit your object, so you do the right click again, you can edit with Paint 3D. And now for this, I'm going to want to turn on my touchpad again, and there's the object. Now with this pen, or with your fingers, either one, you can rotate the object, and then you can go over here and just pick any color, whatever you want, and then you can just draw on it. You can edit it, you can do whatever. You can have it so that your object is just entirely red, so you remove the designs and you draw over it. You can just draw on the designs that already exist. Whatever you want. What you have to keep in mind is that since this is a 3D object, something that can happen while you're drawing on it is, hold on, let me position this correctly. There we go. Is that should be letting me extend it. It won't, so I'll just do it like this. Which is the zoom. You can just move it manually, or you can do it with 2 fingers, which would be working otherwise. So something that can happen is that right now, if I were to go like this, it looks fine. it looks flat, but what you have to keep in mind while you're editing a 3D object you're drawing onto it is that it's a 3D object. So if you move it from here, now it just looks way weirder. So you have to keep in mind where you're drawing onto and how that will affect it when you move it and see it from a different perspective. But other than that, you can just draw on it, you can do whatever you want. And then you can go over here to save it as, just go over here, and then you click save. And then you can save it as a new object that now has this new design over it. And then you can open it and print it the same way you would do with the old object.
Or email it or put it into PowerPoint or something like that.
Mm-hmm. You can put it in all kinds of programs. See now, let's open this. There it is. Same object as before, but now it's got the new design on it. That's how you do it.